Any day I sleep, I ask myself, how will the boy child who is in drug, though that one who is under the influence of alcohol, how can I get them out of the streets? How can I get them out of the drug dens? How can I get them to become the men God created them to be, to give them back their lives, to give them their hope? And that is what he said, that for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And that is where the dignified future was coming about. A hope and a future. That is a dignified life. How do we give future to the boys who are in the streets, in the gutter? We bring them, realign them with their dreams, validate their dreams. How do we put them back in alignment with their hope and their future? That is what I am thinking about. And that is one of our main pillars and our main goal. And that is what is blinding us, the boy child. How do we give them a dignified life? How do we pull them out and make sure that every program that we are making, every program that we are implementing, it's centered into prospering them, giving them a hope, and giving them a future? The next thing I think about is about the widows and the orphans. How can we be able to empower these widows? How can we be able to resocialize them? How can we make them become dignified with decent jobs and bringing them to a space where they become useful to the society so that they can become a people that are going to be looked up to as people who can also generate revenue for the nation? Because there are many. We are talking about millions. And if those millions are pulled into the space, they are empowered, and you remove the stigma, you remove them from where they are ostracized, you bring them to the center to drive the economy, you'll be very surprised. These vulnerable populations are very important because they are the most. If you think of the boy child, how many millions we are talking about, then bring into that space, you bring the widows and you bring the orphans. And on top of that, you bring all these people with various disabilities. And all of them, they start driving the economy of this country. You'll be surprised. Because that space is where God exists. And where God exists is where power is. It is where impact is. And it is where you'll find that anything you do is accepted without rebuttal. Because everyone, in their mind and their heart, they know they ought to have done something about those people with disabilities. They know they ought to have done something for that widow. They know they ought to have done something for that orphan. So when you do it, they feel, that joy and satisfaction. And we need to see the smiles on those boys. We need to see the smiles on those widows. We need to see smiles on the orphans. I want to see the joy like we had with the people who are living with disabilities. That is my goal. At the end of the day, to prosper them, to give them a hope, and to give them a future. And the verse below there, what it says? Then you will call on me. Then you call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. And that is how you find God. And that is how you do the will of God. That's how you fulfill the purposes of God. It is very simple. The worldly people do not know this. This is the secret to success.